So I thought I would go for a different style to this video and do a bit of a podcast. So here it goes. Just imagine what it feels like to be told at 19, well, you have an autoimmune disease. Going outside, already feeling as depressed as you think you can get, but no. I still remember walking down the street trying to process what my life was about to turn into shortly after diagnosis, to only then come across this thing called incontinence. I knew my incontinence was out of control, but at 19, I didn't know what to do about it. Like, think about it. Who was I to ask for help? The doctor that told me I was fine a few months prior to my MS diagnosis, or the people that told me that it was just all in my head? With being young, no one took me seriously because it's only the elderly that go through health complications, right? Oh, but wait, the power of resilience? It's like they say, fall down 7 times and well, you get up 8. And while with incontinence, the power of resilience goes a long way. It's the ability to bounce back from difficult situations, and in this case, let's talk about incontinence. I'm sure for those of you who are also experiencing incontinence have also had setbacks. You know, the kind of setbacks where when you try to take 1 step forwards, you get pushed back 10 more steps in the process. Yeah, that. So, to be that person I searched for 7 years ago, you know, that person that would show vulnerability while talking about disability and even incontinence with a smile on her face, yeah, it was me this entire time, but I just had to learn how to face the psychological barriers to incontinence in order to adapt to the power of resilience. So now that I've come to adapt to what my new norm had become in 2017, I want to be there for you because I get it. I understand what it's like wetting yourself outside in public. I understand what it's like to limit your food and drink intake. I understand what it's like to set many alarms on your phone just so that you won't wet the bed, you know, again. I understand how much incontinence can take a toll on your mental health because depression is mentally disabling. Incontinence, on the other hand, is something that can be in control. Now, we've talked about the power of resilience and restrictions on food intake. So now let's get into social anxiety. Honestly, I get it. I understand what it's like to be incontinent with social anxiety because you create the safe space for yourself to a point where you've mastered social isolation. Like, think about it. When you feel so helpless prior to coming across good protection, you can't help but think everyone is watching you when you're the one that has that wet bum out in public. So you might as well just be under your rock, right? Now, the one thing I found about social anxiety was that it causes you to struggle in silence. Or at least it's how I saw it in 2017. Incontinence can be a dark place, but the one thing I want you to remember is that why struggle in silence when we can face the psychological barriers to incontinence together, right? And then we have ignorance being bliss. People won't get it until they get it. Like, think about it. It's almost as if a lack of knowledge results in clarity to the ignorant. But these are the people who are unwilling to learn about what they don't consider the norm. It's hard, I get it. And if you need to cry, let's cry together. So if you haven't heard it from anyone yet, just know that being different is what's so beautiful. So diaper up and let's break the psychological barrier to incontinence together. Incontinent or not, we can still be in control.